Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look at one of the hottest teams in the National Hockey League. The Nashville Predators are on a tear right now as they make their quest to make the Stanley Cup playoffs. Are they potentially the biggest threat right now in the Western Conference? We're going to take a look at that today. So, the Nashville Predators, we know the story, right? Barry Trotz comes in last season. They bring in a new head coach. So things have definitely changed a lot in Nashville, but for the better. The Nashville Predators right now, going into the season, they're still in a rebuild. They've kind of been selling off pieces over the years. Well, then all of a sudden, around December, January, the Predators just took the league by storm. And you look at what they've done here in the year of 2024. 2024 has been oh so kind to the Nashville Predators. So we're going to take a look at that here. So just looking at how things have gone for the Predators this season, okay? This is what we're looking at here. So look at that. There is an 8-game winning streak there from February 17th to April 2nd, right? And that most recent game, right, that was the 8-game winning streak ended with a 5-1 win versus the Avalanche and a 6-1 win over the Wild. So commanding victories. Then they lost two of their 4 games, right? They had a 2-game winning streak and then loss, right? And then they went on a 6-game tear, where obviously we know how things went there. They went on a tear, beating a couple of more pretty impressive teams. Winnipeg's a good team. Florida's a good team. Vegas is a good team. They beat some pretty good opponents there. Respectable wins for the Predators. And then, of course, the joke right now is, well, they should be okay in the playoffs as long as they don't play the Coyotes, right? Obviously, ending that 6-game winning streak in a 8-4 loss to the Yotes. And I still can't get over that attendance. Listen, Coyotes fans, say what you will, but that attendance is pretty concerning for a multitude of reasons. But anyway, that's not what the video is about today. The video is about the Nashville Predators and just the amount of winning they've done this year. I mean, this team, it's incredible what they've been able to do in such a short amount of time under Barry Trotz. And listen, you guys know, as an Islander fan, I love Barry Trotz. I love me some Barry Trotz. He is just such a good hockey guy. And, you look at this team, right? I mean, that the Barry Trotz effect is here. 43, 27, and 4, 90 points. 4th in the Central, but they're technically tied with Vegas with 90 points. So they could jump even into one of those top 3 spots. And we're going to get to that in a second. We'll talk about that. But basically, the Predators have everything in front of them all of a sudden. Things are on the up for the Predators. And, one of the things I've heard a lot of Predators fans talking about is, and I'll show you this here real quick. If you look at the standings, a lot of Predators fans have been saying, listen, if things, this might be a hot take, but I don't want to take over Winnipeg for the 3rd spot in the division. Because if you look at the standings right now, okay, there is your Western Conference situation. So Dallas is on top, Colorado's on top. I think those two pretty locked in at this point. But then you've got Winnipeg, who is 4 points ahead of Nashville. What's interesting there is a lot of Predators fans are saying, hey, listen, depending on how things go here, we might be better off staying in that first wild card spot and taking on the winner of the Pacific Division, which at this point looks like Vancouver. And they were trying to, and this is on a Reddit post by the Predators, and they were kind of saying like, yeah, you know what? As much as the Canucks are a good team, there's a reason they have 100 points and this and that. In terms of just overall matchup and teams I'd rather play in the playoffs, I would rather be that first wild card spot right now than the 3rd seed Winnipeg Jets, because the Jets aren't getting home ice advantage and they have to play, the second team in the Central, which is either Dallas or Colorado. and nobody's going to want to play either of those teams. Now, again, for Nashville, it's one of those things where you're at that point where you're like, oh, let's see which spot we can get and things like that. But at this point, that should be the mentality. If they could stay ahead of the Los Angeles Kings, stay in that first wild card spot, if LA wins that game in hand, technically they're a point apart. So the Predators got to be careful where they don't, it's one of those things where you want the perfect happy medium. But the problem is, first of all, other teams are thinking the same thing you're thinking, right? You don't think LA is thinking, well, we really want that first wild card spot. We got to be that team. So it's one of those things where for Nashville, it's going to be tight. But ideally, they would keep that spot. But then you have to think of it the other way, right? So let's say they do just enough just to make the playoffs and they purposely stay in the wild card spot. Well, now they get second. Let's say they get the second wild card and the Kings take over them. Well, now they have to play the top team, whoever wins the Central Division, which is worse than if they just played the second Central Division team, which is going to be the loser, or at this point it would be Colorado. So I think it's kind of funny how Predators fans' mentality is, because they see the gap. They see the gap between themselves and a non-playoff spot, which is 8 points now. And with less than 10 games left in the season, that is probably too much for the St. Louis Blues to overcome. So now, not only are we thinking playoffs for Predators, it's more so where can we sit? And like I said, you guys saw the standings. I think a lot of Predators fans are thinking if we can hold on to that first wild card and take on Vancouver, we'll take that matchup. And I said this last week, actually, in my Canucks video. I said, listen, you don't want to play the Predators right now. And I think that Predators fans see a weakness there with Nashville, a weakness there with Vancouver as a team they could maybe match up better against than Colorado or Dallas. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of the Nashville Predators? Who would you like to play? Would you rather be the third wild card or the third in the third seed in the Central, taking on the second seed, whether that's Dallas or Colorado? Would you rather play Vancouver, who is more than likely going to be the winner of the Pacific with that first wild card spot, or the second wild card spot, which is likely going to be the winner of the Central Division? Or what is your strategy, right? Would you rather say, listen, let's win as many games down the stretch, let's keep up our hot streak, and who cares? If we get third in the division, we get third in the division. We've been playing so well, it doesn't matter who we play. We're going to beat them anyway. I'm going to assume that's the way the Predators players are thinking, but you never know, right? The human brain works a different way. Once you see the standings, they're probably doing a little bit of scoreboard watching. So I'm kind of interested to see what you guys think would be the best matchup for the Preds. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you again next time. Peace, guys.